So the last step really that we have in the enclosure piece is to kind of fill in the gaps here on the back side of the building. If we take a look at the image of the original stall house, you can see actually the back side of the house is not nearly as wonderful as the front side of the house. It's fairly straightforward, fairly simple construction. So it's really just a series of solid infill panels. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill those in with more of a texture later on. So right now, we're going to keep this part fairly simple. And we can come back in and we're going to go ahead and just infill the gaps here with a solid object. I am going to make it a group though, so we can keep the line work separate. But we're going to just come in between each of the banks, between each of the column bays, and we're going to add a wall structure. And we're going to go ahead and frame the structure all the way to the outside edge of the columns. And again, for this one, I guess I can make this a component. And I'm going to call it solid wall. We'll call it solid wall number 1 and hit create. So then I will back up a little bit and we're going to go ahead and extrude this up to the top. Notice I couldn't zoom out very well. My extrusion wasn't quite working. So I zoomed extents, and now I'm going to go through, open my component, and we will go ahead and just extrude that straight up to the underside of the beam. And once I've copied that, even though I'm getting a delineation of form there, we're going to go ahead and just copy the solid panel all the way to the other side. And we're going to infill the back portion of the building. And we'll do the same thing one more time. Keep in mind the sections we're working at seem to be showing some detail, but that detail may not exist on the back face. It may be in a different section of the building. So that gives me one solid chunk of walls towards the back. But I know on this side I've got a column here, so I've got a little bit smaller sections of wall. So we're going to come on in. Now the floor plan looks like a couple kind of different things are happening. But again, we're going to go ahead and just simplify because these aren't really going to be the areas we're taking a lot of views of. So we'll double click and I'm going to make this a component and I'm going to call it solid wall 2 and hit create. Then we'll open it up. And similarly, we will push that up to the top. The nice thing about doing it this way is if we want to add detail, we can certainly add detail later. Now I'm going to copy my second solid wall and slide it over to the other edge. So at this point now, we've delineated fairly well where we have some solid walls. Now I know I've got a couple other ones here that separate bedrooms from bathrooms. So I think we may do that. We may actually stop this video here and we'll add the interior walls at a later date, at a later video.